This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Hello, I'm Jay Cohn and welcome to the MTN News at 9. And here's what's happening around Montana tonight. High-tech businesses are thriving across the state. We'll give you a list of the top businesses. 2 bodies found in a Helena home. The latest on this developing story coming up. But first, President Trump's summit today with Vladimir Putin in Finland, one for the history books. But it's the president's controversial remarks that are causing a firestorm tonight. How did Montana's congressman react? For more on that, we send it over to Janelle Slade with the full story. Janelle.
Montana's congressional delegation all in agreement on this one, Jay, that President Donald Trump missed an opportunity to call out Russian intervention in the 2016 presidential election. Now, that feeling also quite strong with nearly all Republican leaders across the country. While Trump and Vladimir Putin covered many topics, including nuclear weapons in Syria, all eyes and ears focused on Russian meddling. Amid special counsel Robert Mueller's recent indictments pointing to Russia's direct involvement, President Trump was still quick to criticize the investigation. Here at home in the U.S., Senator John McCain called Trump's performance one of the most disgraceful by an American president. Even staunch Trump supporter Montana Senator Steve Daines questioned this latest move. He says, quote, "I have the highest confidence in the men and women in our intelligence communities and their conclusive evidence regarding Russia's deliberate efforts to interfere in our elections. Russia is our adversary and must be held accountable for its aggressions in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and around the world." Montana's senior Senator John Tester also weighing in, quote, "America's top law enforcement and intelligence agencies agree that Russia is a hostile nation that has targeted America, threatened our democracy, and undermined our national security. Our country must hold Putin accountable, not hold his hand." And Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte says Russia has promoted instability throughout the world. He says Russia is not our ally. American intelligence agencies have been clear that we must defend ourselves and counteract whatever they do, as President Trump promised in March. President Trump tweeted on his way home that he does have great confidence in U.S. intelligence, but he also said he has to look to the future and not the past in order to get along with Russia.
We're learning the first details tonight about Vice President Mike Pence's visit to Billings next week. The public event with the vice president includes a rally with GOP Senate nominee Matt Rosendale in support of the Trump administration tax cuts. The rally is now set for next Tuesday, July 24th. It starts at 9:30 in the morning at the Montana Pavilion down at Metro Park. The conservative group America First Policies is sponsoring the event, is in charge of the tickets. You can register and request tickets at americafirstpolicies.org. Later Tuesday, the vice president will also be hosting a private fundraiser for the Rosendale campaign. In other news, in remote Lincoln County in northwest Montana, firefighters there now trying to contain a 10-acre blaze that's burning on the Kootenai National Forest. The Zulu fire was discovered Sunday morning. It's burning about 20 miles north of Libby in the Zulu Creek drainage. The Kootenai National Forest reports that at least 1 helicopter being used to fight the blaze. At this time, though, no structures are threatened. Fire officials believe that fire was lightning caused. This is the first notable wildfire in the region this summer.
Now, recently, Montana's High-Tech Business Alliance named the top 25 high-tech businesses across the state.
And 10 of them are located in Bozeman. MTN's Emma Hamilton brings us the story.
From engineering to manufacturing and much more, Montana High-Tech Business Alliance compiled the 2018 list for the top tech businesses across the state.
These businesses were ranked on bringing wealth to the state, investing in the community, and creating jobs. 10 out of these 25 businesses are right here in Bozeman.
Advanced Electronic Designs was one of the businesses to be named, and it believes it's due to the employees they have on board.
Our president's hired some very bright engineers and other folks to work with here, so we're very excited for that opportunity to represent Bozeman and potentially the state of Montana for that. So it's a big deal for us.
With Bozeman businesses making up nearly half the list, Montana High-Tech Business Alliance and Advanced Electronic Designs believes it's partially due to the community collaboration of the businesses here.
The businesses in Bozeman are open to collaboration, working together, working to grow the whole sector versus individualism. That's the one thing that makes Bozeman a real special place, is the collaboration amongst the businesses in this community.
Bozeman is a very progressive city, obviously, and there's lots of high-tech companies here. Prospera Business Alliance here locally. We have an opportunity to get together with those companies, kind of find out what our, fellow employers in the community are doing.
In Bozeman, Emma Hamilton, MTN News.
Thank you, Emma. Now for a detailed look at that list of high-tech businesses, check out your local MTN station website.
Another news tonight, more than 1 year after a credit card breach hit the city of Bozeman, city leaders announced changes. Between July and October of 2017, people who paid their utility bill online at the Click2Gov system may have had their credit card information, name, address, and security codes compromised. Now, the city says customers began reporting fraud following the use of the online payment system. The city says the server was taken offline earlier this month when the breach was identified and outside agencies helped rebuild it.
In Helena, authorities investigating the deaths of a man and a woman. Their bodies found in their home in central Helena. MTN's Jacob Fuhrer reports.
Police cars and crime scene tape greeted residents in this Helena neighborhood as they walked out of their houses Monday morning. At around 10 a.m., the Helena Police Department arrived to this house on North Hannaford Street in central Helena. Police say they were responding to a report of 2 dead bodies in the home. When they arrived, they found 2 people inside, a 21-year-old woman and a 26-year-old man. Both appeared to have been shot. Several neighbors in the area were surprised by the news, some telling MTN that the residents of that home were generally quiet and kept to themselves. The incident shut down 1 block of Hannaford Street between Livingston Avenue and Townsend Avenue as police conducted their investigation. Helena police are not looking for a suspect in the case and say there is no concern for public safety at this time. The names of the man and woman have not been released. In Helena, Jacob Fuhrer, MTN News.
And Jacob tells us the bodies of the man and woman have now been taken to the state crime lab in Missoula for autopsies.
First responders are seeing more and more opioid overdoses than ever, but in Butte, they have a new tool to try and stop it.
MTN's John Amy shows us tonight how firefighters and police in Butte are now armed with an anti-overdose injector.
Quick shots of naloxone up the nose of a person in the throes of an opioid overdose last week helped Butte firefighters save the victim's life.
Administered the medication that increased their breathing rate. We gave them another dose and they started becoming alert and oriented and able to talk by the time that we were done with that.
This proved so effective, now all firefighters and soon all Butte police will carry these Narcan injectors.
It's kind of foolproof in a way. The person is not under an opiate overdose, is down for some other reason. This will not harm them.
Every firefighter and officer in the department was trained to use it. It's really simple, actually. You just plug one nostril, stick the device in the other, push the button, and just like that, you could potentially save somebody from an overdose.
It's just a lot more easy to administer now. And then it's a lot easier for people, and less training is required to administer it.
Opioid addiction is on the rise in the country, and first responders now have another tool in the event of overdose.
I'm hoping that we don't have as bad as epidemic as some of the other places in the country, but we are prepared if that does happen, that we have the antidote for that. So,
a quick shot between life and death. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Thanks, John. Now, the cost of the new injectors paid for by a national law enforcement grant.
And each of those nasal sprayers, by the way, runs about $100.
The annual East-West Shrine Game kicks off this Saturday.
In a moment, find out why this game is about much more than just football.
And just after this break, Bob McGuire has your statewide weather report.
Party.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire.
That's right, and welcome to the MTN Weathercast. And as we go statewide, we're going to start off here with Glacier National Park. And as you can see, the shadows are getting a little long out there. But boy, what a beautiful night. You think that's nice? Let's go down to Lake McDonald, take a look at that. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good too. Look how refreshing that is. But right now, the current temperature at Lake McDonald is like 79 degrees. It's a little on the warm side. Here's Yellowstone Park right now at Old Faithful. We were hoping this thing would go off as we were going on the air. Not quite, but we've got a little steam there, but partly cloudy skies out there as well. Here's the way it looks in Billings right now. Just some hazy skies in Billings, 80 degrees. Winds are out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. And as you can see, the humidity about 40%. So what's happening around the rest of the state? Well, it's been a pretty warm one, especially out in the northwest. You can see 87 over at Kalispell, 89 in Missoula. Look at Great Falls. It's 90 degrees there. We were a little cooler today in the southwest corner of the state. Temperatures into the 70s and 80s at this hour. Elsewhere, you'll see a lot of 70s and 80s back here. You see 81 degrees over in Glendive right now. You see 84 degrees in Miles City. So really not that bad of a night. But as we move on, let me show you what's happening. These are at reported highs, and look how hot it got. We got way into the 90s here. Back here in the southwest, generally into the 80s there. In eastern Montana, look at all the 90s in that area. 91 degrees at Glendive. It was 94 at Jordan today, 90 at Miles City. Very toasty today. Even northern Wyoming, take a look at Worland, they were at 91 degrees. So here's the story. What about precipitation? Even though we had some showers in the southwest, we didn't get into heavy rain there, just some light sprinkles. And so the only place where we had any measurable precipitation was in Wyoming at Cody and at Worland. Everybody else at our normal, regular reporting station didn't get any rain at all. At least if they did, it was just a trace, and that was about it. But as we move on, winds have died down a little bit. It was a little breezy today over in Dillon and also in Livingston, but the winds there have died down a little bit. Now they're under 10 miles per hour over at Livingston. Back here, a little breezy. Last hour, 23 mile per hour wind gust over at Glendive. Now, as we move on, you'll see here, there's the story. Our thunderstorm outlook for today shows maybe the threat of a few isolated showers here across the western part of the state, goes all the way down towards southeastern Montana. In Wyoming and Idaho, maybe a marginal risk of a few more severe storms, but I got to tell you, most of the stuff is starting to die down tonight. So what about tomorrow? Well, it's kind of the same story. Isolated showers across most of Montana. The big stuff will continue to stay basically in northeastern Wyoming. That's where we have a marginal risk of some severe thunderstorms there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some very heavy showers later tomorrow. Here's what's happening. You can see some spotty showers moving into Montana, but as the night goes on and we're starting to lose our heat from the day, these storms, as they come down off the mountains, are really starting to fall apart. Maybe over by Jackson Hole, Wyoming, some heavier showers there, but for the most part, things are dying down. Over at Judith Gap, had some heavier showers there just last hour. Now they're just kind of rolling back in towards some sprinkles, and that's about it. It's all part of a big upper level low pressure cell here that's moving in. It's drawing in a little monsoon moisture and is wrapping around that low pressure cell. So that's our next weather system. It's making its way into the region. It will produce some scattered showers our way tomorrow morning. And then probably later on in the day, you'll see more showers by Tuesday evening. And then look at this. Look at the heavy showers rolling back in towards Montana. It starts around this low pressure cell and slings it all the way back towards Kalispell and places like maybe into the Butte area and Missoula. But I tell you what, that whole thing just kicks out of the way. Maybe a few spotty showers in eastern Montana for tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, here's what you will see. As far as precipitation, it looks like Billings is going to be the most, one of the bigger ones. 38 hundredths of an inch of rain there. You'll see about maybe 11 hundredths of an inch over at Helena. Great Falls will go dry, and probably see maybe a little heavier rain over here at Miles City, and maybe 4 hundredths of an inch at Worland. Sheridan, Wyoming, also 5 hundredths of an inch of rain there. So tonight we'll see our temps cool back down to the 50s and 60s out west. Back here in the east, again, generally into the 50s, some low 60s, generally clear skies. If we see any showers tonight, they'll be very spotty right along the state line with Wyoming. And then for tomorrow, look at this. 80s, 91 degrees at Sydney, 70s around the mountain, but in the far west, look at that, 91 degrees at Kalispell and Missoula. It'll be 88 over in Great Falls, Butte about 79 degrees, but for the most part, just partly cloudy skies and maybe a few spotty showers and thunderstorms across south central Montana. And with that, here is your look at your 7-day forecast.
We sell bikes.
Montana's top high school football players take the field this coming Saturday in the annual East-West Shrine Game.
This year marks the 72nd annual Montana Shrine Game, which raises money for the Shriners Hospital in Spokane, Washington. The Montana Game is not only one of the longest running shrine games in the country, it's also among the top games in the nation for hospital donations.
All this week, we're going to bring you stories of Montana families who have been on the receiving end of the amazing work done for kids out of Spokane's Shriners Hospital. Tonight, we meet Macy.
My name is Macy Brandon, and I am from Havre, Montana. My injury was that I broke my arm. It wasn't straight and it didn't heal.
Without them and without the treatment that Macy received, we wouldn't be watching her do the things that she's able to do today. I'm very thankful for the Shriners and the hospital for the treatment that they gave Macy. The experience not only for her was great, but it was also great for us as well.
They taught me what I could and couldn't do, and before surgery the nurses sang to me because I didn't want to leave my parents. My favorite doctor was Dr. Bronson because he fixed my arm. The fun things I got to do at the hospital was I played games, I went to the activity room, and also my dad and mom pulled me in a wagon.
They just know how to treat the kids and the parents as well. I mean, it was absolutely a wonderful experience in a difficult time.
It was amazing. After surgery, I got to go to the prize closet and pick out a prize. And they even unhooked my IV so that I could go down the slide outside. My favorite activity or sport is basketball, gymnastics, and track. I wouldn't be able to do those activities without the Shriners. I am thankful for Shriners because they help kids like me, and they made it so I can do everything I can do today.
She's got a great smile, doesn't she?
She does.
You can meet more kids like Macy and find out how you can help the Shriners make a difference in their lives. Join us Saturday at 6 p.m.
We'll bring you their inspirational stories, and then you can watch the stars of Montana high school football take the field live from Memorial Stadium in Great Falls.
And speaking of football, that's right, the Big Sky Conference announced its preseason polls today.
This is your coaches poll with first place votes on the right. Grizz are picked 7th, Bobcats 8th. In the media poll, sportscasters and writers are putting a little more confidence in the Grizz, 4th overall with a couple first place votes.
Bobcats are 8th again. For a closer look at the full breakdown, check it out at montanasports.com.
Here's a look at today's Montana Snap.
MTN 9 o'clock news continues on CW Montana.
Welcome back tonight. Here's a look at news from across the nation today.
A lava bomb or flying chunk of molten rock hit a tour boat off Hawaii's Big Island Monday, injuring 23 people. Now, the lava bomb left a large hole in the boat's roof and a damaged railing. 13 people were taken to a hospital, while another 10 passengers with superficial wounds were treated. One woman in her 20s suffered a fractured femur. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupted in early May, sending lava into residential areas on the Big Island. Those eruptions still active on Sunday.
A wildfire burning near Yosemite National Park has already scorched about 9,200 acres. Firefighters also are working to recover the body of a bulldozer operator who died Saturday when his machine overturned as he was trying to cut a fire line in steep terrain. The steep terrain and temperatures over 100 degrees making this a very difficult fire to fight. Nearby residents have been evacuated. More than 100 structures, we're told, are threatened by the flames. As of tonight, officials say that fire is just 2% contained.
An Oregon woman is telling her incredible story of survival after plunging over a cliff in Central California. 23-year-old Angela Hernandez suffered a brain hemorrhage and fractured ribs after a violent crash on July 6th. She survived 7 days before hikers in the area spotted her. Hernandez posted on social media that she also broke 4 ribs, both collarbones, and suffered a collapsed lung in that crash.
Very lucky young lady there. We'll be right back after this.
UA.
Welcome back.
Let's take a look at what's coming up on your local MTN station at 10 o'clock.
I'm Jill Valley with KPAX in Missoula tonight. Hot, dry conditions are persisting this week, and fire officials are bumping up the fire danger for western Montana.
Hi, I'm Patrice Sparks in Bozeman.
And I'm Kevin Stanfield. 2 Bozeman City police officers are recovering. It takes several more to arrest one guy.
Hello, I'm Don Fisher. Coming up on KAJ, Kalispell Regional Health has reached a settlement in their physician compensation case. That story coming up at 10 o'clock.
Good evening, I'm Jacob Fuhr. Coming up on KTVH News at 10, a man rams through a gate to steal a dog from the local shelter. We'll have the charges he now faces.
I'm Caitlin Corbett.
And I'm Kevin Stanfield. Here's what's happening in Butte.
First responders in Butte are finding a new way to combat the opioid crisis.
I'm Shannon Newt with KRTV in Great Falls. Tonight, firefighters work to extinguish a blaze near Vaughn that started with hay on the back of a truck.
And coming up on the Q2 News at 10, we're rolling back the clock 35 years ago. We're remembering the beginning of Lake Elmo State Park. It's the subject of tonight's Q2 Rewind.
And one last look at weather with Bob tonight.
Yeah, I think the important thing to know here is that if anybody's going to get a chance of rain, it's going to be tomorrow. Let me show you. It's not going to be in western Montana. As Jill was saying, it's going to be hot and dry. Temperatures in the 90s there. And look at this. Maybe a chance for showers to Great Falls and Helena, but then after that, it's nothing but mostly sunny skies the rest of the week. Same thing over in Butte and Bozeman. Spotty showers there and then sunny skies Wednesday right on through Monday. And back here in the Billings area, we have a decent chance for some showers, maybe even some heavy rain. It'll be 85 degrees in Billings, and then temperatures getting back down into the 80s by the time Thursday gets here, but we're still looking for a lot of heat. 93 degrees on Wednesday, Friday 92 degrees, 91 on Saturday, and then as we head into Sunday, we roll it back into the 80s, all with mostly sunny skies.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, so I think tomorrow's our main day. We'll probably see some showers tomorrow in the southwest corner of the state. Everyone else probably going to go dry again.
All right, thanks, Bob. And we want to thank you so much for joining us across the big sky for this, our maiden voyage for our new MTN News at 9.
The latest local news, weather, and sports continues on your local MTN station at 10 o'clock. We hope you can join us right back here again tomorrow night at 9.
It's a date.